Hello everyone and welcome back. In the last lesson we have finished implementing our data source, and one of its functionalities is to dispatch to the store this lessons page requested action in order to report to the store that a given lessons page needs to be loaded. Let's now write the logic that loads the lessons page onto the store, and that will take the form of an effect. So let's switch over here to our effects file and start creating our new effect. We are going to call it load lessons page. And as usual, we are going to obtain this observable by deriving it here from the actions observable. Let's take the actions observable and filter on a given action type. We are also going to add here the effect decorator as usual. Now we are going to go ahead and take this off type filter that we are applying here, and we are going to go ahead and apply here the correct action that we want to filter. So let's take here the name of the action, which is lessons page requested. Let's modify off type to filter only the actions of type lessons page requested. After filtering on the action type, we can now do the backend request. And as usual, we are going to be using merge map in order to transform our action into a backend request. We know that we are retrieving here an action, and we know that we always want to access the payload property of the action. Let's then destructure here the payload property directly. Now we are going to go ahead and call the backend. We are going to be using the courses service, and we are going to be using this particular method, the find lessons method. This method takes a couple of parameters. The first is going to be the course ID, which is available on the payload, and the next couple of methods are the page number and the page size, which can be taken here directly from the payload page property. So let's fill in here the page index. Let's also format here the code so that we can see better what is going on. So we have filled in here the page index. Let's now go ahead and fill the last parameter in, which is going to be the page size. The courses service is now going to make a call to the backend. Here, using the Angular HTTP service, we are going to hit /API/lessons, and we are going to get back here an observable of lesson array. So this lesson array corresponds to a lesson page. Going back here to our effect, all we need to do now is to take the lesson page and to emit an action that saves the lesson page in the store. We are going to take here the array of lessons, and we are going to transform this into an NGRX action. The action that we want to dispatch is the second action that we have defined for this module, which is called lessons page loaded. That takes here a payload with a lessons array. Let's then go ahead and instantiate here this action, and we're going to pass in here in the constructor the lessons array. And with this, the initial implementation of our effect is completed. On a later lesson, we're going to be adding here error handling, but right now we want to see all this code that we have been adding in action. Let's now finish the implementation of this feature by writing the reducer function that is going to save the lessons in response to the lessons page loaded action. Let's then go ahead and open here the lessons reducers file, and we are going to add here the reducing logic for this action. Let's add here a new case block. We are going to choose here the lessons page loaded action type. So if we are in the presence of this action type, what should happen? We should take the lessons page payload and add it to the store. And in order to do that, we are going to be using, as usual, the adapter. The adapter has a method which is called addMany. So as you can see, it takes an array of lessons and a state as the second argument. Let's then pass it in the lessons page that we have here available in the payload, and we are also going to pass it the initial state. What we have here as the output of addMany is the new state, so that's what we want to return as the output of the reducer function. And with this initial implementation of our lessons reducer, we are ready to try out this new functionality. So let's go back here to the course component and have a look at the template. We have just loaded our data in the store, and we are passing here to the material table the data source. The data source is emitting the lessons data that it's fetching from the store. So this means that if we now try this out in a larger window, we should have here a working course landing page. Let's have a look. We are going to go ahead and refresh here our application. We are going to show here the state and we're going to log into the application. Let's now go ahead and switch here to the course landing page. So as we can see, the course entities are already loaded in the store, just like before, but the lessons feature state is still empty. Now if we click here on view course for the Angular NGRX course, we are going to see that now we have here some new data being saved in the store that corresponds to the lessons of the NGRX course as expected. And we can see that we are getting here the lessons ordered by their sequence number. So we can see here the IDs array that has the correct order based on the sequential number of each lesson. So lesson 30 has sequence number 1, this one has sequence number 2, and this one has sequence number 3. And if we scroll down here on the action log, we can see that we have here the two new actions, lessons page requested and lessons page loaded. Now notice one thing, this data is now present in the store. So if we go back here using the side menu to the courses page, we are going to see that the data is still there, present in the store. This means that now if we go back again to the Angular NGRX course landing page, we are going to see that now the data is going to be immediately available and displayed to the user. We no longer needed to do any backend request. And let's check here that that's indeed the case in the Ajax log. We can see here that we did a login. We fetched all the courses by hitting /API/courses, and we have fetched here a lessons page. But if we now navigate back to the main menu and we load here this course again, we can see that no extra request is being made. The data is being fetched from the store. If we now head over here to another course and we click view course, we are going to notice that we have here a second request. This is because this page of data had never been requested before. If we now switch here to the DevTools, we can see that now we have a new series of lessons present here, lessons 1, 2, 3, that belong to the Angular for Beginners course. You might notice, however, that the first time that we select a course, we are going to see initially a blank table, and only after a couple of seconds then we can see here the data. That's because we have not yet implemented the loading indicator functionality. Also, we have not implemented here the pagination functionality. We are going to be implementing both features in the next couple of lessons.